Of an Iran nuclear deal, we're just hit with a big blow. 75 former lawmakers are urging Congress to back the Iranian nuclear deal. To Republican Congressman Lee Zeldin now on whether there's still hope to shoot down a deal. Congressman, thank you for coming in. Let's first pull back a little bit and just talk about what's happening in Iran. The supreme leader of Iran, the Ayatollah, continues to spit on America, continues to say that no matter what the deal says, we're not going to let foreigners or the IAEA or anybody except us into our military bases. How can anybody ignore that?
You can't. You have to take them at their word. They're being very upfront. The military sites, they said before, during and after the negotiations that we won't have any access to their military sites. They're saying death to America, developing ICBMs, financing terror, blowing up mock U.S. warships, and all of it's being ignored. The Obama administration says they're just appeasing their hardliners. The fact is we're propping up the wrong regime.
Well, and it's not, maybe the point is that the leaders are the hardliners. And I mean, nobody speaks for what the Iranian government does more than the supreme leader. Nobody can trump the supreme leader. And he's the one who's saying we're not going to let anybody but our own guys investigate these sites.
You look at Hamas and Hezbollah getting the money from Iran. They report to Qasem Soleimani, who's the leader of the Quds Force, who reports directly to the supreme leader. I mean, all the evidence all over the map of the Middle East points directly to the Iranian leadership in charge right now. They are the hardliners.
And just one more point on this, the side deal that showed that they were going to be able to self-inspect the military facility at Parchin, which is a very important military facility. It has been for the past 12 to 15 years as they've been working on this thing. Even the IAEA that's saying, oh, no, they're not going to self-inspect. They're admitting in their criticism of saying that they're not going to be able, that it's the Iranians who are going to be sampling the material in those sites and then bringing it to the inspectors. So the Iranians are on the front line of those inspections.
No doubt. No American inspectors. You're absolutely right. The Associated Press put the report of reading one of the deals, and that's what it said there.
But even since then, the IAEA that was trying to pour cold water on that Associated Press report admits that the samples are going to be taken by the Iranians, not by international inspectors.
And the president says this is a deal that's not built on trust, it's built on verification. How does anyone support this deal when you haven't even read the inspection and verification?
So how is it, in light of all this, that the other side, the side that's in favor of the deal, is getting traction right now?
Well, you have people who are prioritizing party loyalty over national security. The fact is, Congress shouldn't even, they're not even on the clock. The law states that Congress is entitled to the entire agreement, as defined by including the other agreements that are between Iran and other parties. It's right in the law. The president signed it, Congress passed it. That's how you trigger the 60-day review clock, and the president can't waive those statutory sanctions until after the review period is over.
All right, well, fortunately, we have other means than just relying on, no offense, but the people inside the Beltway for our solutions. Senator Inhofe from Oklahoma and his attorney general put together an idea of having states themselves, states getting together and continuing with the sanctions on a statewide level. They had a Wall Street Journal editorial today. I'll read part of it. It says, rather than drop their sanctions against Iran, states should strengthen and expand those sanctions to prohibit the investment of public assets, such as pension funds, into companies doing business with countries that sponsor terrorism like Iran. Do you think that would do any good?
Oh, yes, absolutely. I mean, the president cut a deal that was assuming that the states were going to remove their sanctions. That assumption is a bad one.
But is that enough money? Is there enough money from the United States, individual states, to affect Iran?
Absolutely. There isn't enough weight that is given to these American sanctions. I just came from Charleston, South Carolina. Every single BMW SUV is manufactured there. If you're in Germany and you want to buy an SUV, BMW, it's getting manufactured in Charleston and sent to Germany. So right now for Germans, for German companies, they are being able to benefit from the American economy and the Iranian economy. If given the choice between which economy to be able to do business in, the fact is the sanction regime would stay in place, and there's not enough weight being given.
But you know what discourages a lot of people, including the Israelis that I've talked to, is that even if the U.S. snaps back the sanctions because Iran violates the treaty or the agreement in some way, the Europeans won't. And it's sort of like the end of the Carter administration back in the late 70s, when Iran, the stuff that the Carter administration did with Iran led to decades of the Iranian hardliners in control. Has the Obama administration put the United States in the same position?
Well, the president has put us in a really bad position. I don't even think we should get to the point where we're talking about snapping back sanctions. We should hold on to maintain the sanctions as they are right now and strengthen them so we're not even in that position.
But even if we do that, the Europeans won't.
I disagree, because right now, I mean, obviously, Russia and China, they're not playing for the same team that we are. They want the deal. But you look at England, you look at Germany and France, these foreign countries, these foreign companies in these foreign countries, they are relying on being able to do business with the American economy. We keep our sanctions in place. They are looking to us for leadership. We are the leaders of the free world. Let's lead.
We got to leave it at that. Congressman Lee Zeldin, good to see you, sir. Thank you for coming in.